Good morning. Happy Tuesday, right? Kimberly, my favorite subscriber. And hey, these glasses horrible. Holy moly. It's like looking at sparkles when I look up at the lights. Hey everybody, good to see you. Jason, Rom, Ed, Will, Nancy, Cliff, Gary, Scott, Terry, Craig, Dan, channel members Frank, Darren, Mark, Jason, Rob, Don, and then all my subscribers like Larry, Bill, Robert. Good to see you. Good to see you. Morning. So, yesterday, David A was talking about how gold's finite and all those sort of things. But funny enough, I happened across an article last night about space mining and the status. So let's talk about it. What might go down, right? It's an interesting thing. Like you think about it, like we spend tons of money to send stuff up, but there's companies right now working on bringing that cost down orders of magnitude. And what if they brought back to Earth more gold than we currently have? I mean, that could be kind of wild, right? So, I think we've all kind of been there. We've seen these guys like at the grocery store or maybe a sandwich counter or whatever having a small meltdown because they're gluten free, ethically sourced, sustainably farmed, blessed by a shaman, avocado toast stuff gone up in price again. And I just anytime I see anybody having a fit about prices going up, it's like you have no idea what's about to come, right? I mean, we all feel it, the squeeze, the inflation, the supply chain nightmares, the geopolitical drama, prices just keep going up. I mean, we've diversified, we've hedged, we've done things. Maybe you did everything right. You're sitting there doing okay for yourself. And yet, the price of everything just keeps going. I mean, gold hitting new all time highs. I mean, it's like a game of economic Jenga with a deck of blocks. I mean, the little Jenga blocks, suppose that part of them are actually made of matches and then part of them are soaked in gasoline, right? I mean, think about this, gold up. Everybody talks about how gold the best performer, but really platinum is up 50% this year because we can't find it fast enough and dig it out of the ground fast enough. And China playing keep away with rare earth metals, using them as their ace in the hole, and suddenly building everything from F-35s to Tesla to, catalytic converters. I mean, it's all complicated, more expensive, and it feels like we're all fighting over the last few crumbs on a very, very expensive cake. But what if I told you people are staring down another cake, like a much, much bigger cake? A cake so ridiculously large it makes the entire global economy, the trillions of dollars in it, look like a single sad homemade cupcake by somebody that doesn't bake. And this massive thing is just floating out in space. So this is the next potential gold rush. And I'm not talking about some sort of new crypto coin with a picture of, some meme on it. I'm talking about literal, honest to goodness, rock solid gold, platinum, and cobalt floating out there in space, and all the other shiny things that we can't seem to get enough of down here on Earth to make the things we want in a cost-effective, efficient manner. I'm talking about asteroid mining here. Now, you may be like, well, this is far-fetched. It's not going to work. And I know, it sounds like the plot of a bad sci-fi movie, but while we're all sitting here paying attention to the market and trying to figure out how to make money today, there are handfuls of very serious people with very deep pockets that are trying to take that sci-fi movie and make it a reality, turn it into a business plan. So NASA, they've already been on this for years. All right, they're actually sending a probe right now to an asteroid named Psyche. It's kind of Psyche. Anyway, that asteroid is so packed with metal, it's estimated to be worth 100,000 quadrillion dollars. That's a one with 19 zeros after it. For context, the entire global economy right now is about 100 trillion. So this one asteroid, this one rock right here that they're sending a probe to right now is worth more than everything on Earth right now, 1,000 times over. And if you thought your real estate was doing nice, well, this is where it gets interesting, because a few, lucky or maybe not so lucky people who get involved in this kind of slightly insane idea, I mean, these startups are racing to get a piece of this cosmic pie. And you've got companies like Astroforge, a California startup that's raised $40 million so far. They've already set up to refine in space. Like, they're testing out a refinery in space to test out their tech. Their co-founder came from SpaceX and Virgin Orbit. He's refreshingly honest. He's basically said, we're going to fail a lot. We're going to have a lot of failures. You got to love that, though. I mean, it's Silicon Valley version of, hold my beer, watch this. We're going to try this out. I mean, Elon does that a lot, right? Then there's TransAstra, another California crew. Their plan is even more beautifully bonkers. They want to use giant mirrors to focus sunlight into a laser beam and then literally vaporize parts of asteroids to get the good stuff out. They call it optical mining. And it's kind of like laser welding for asteroids, I guess. What could possibly go wrong? I called it wielding the sun as a blowtorch. I mean, honestly, let the games begin, right? This could be interesting. Now, before you go liquidate your assets and try to buy a ticket on the next SpaceX launch to get up there, let's be clear. You can't just go on Robinhood and buy shares of Asteroid Miners Incorporated. Not yet, anyway. These are private companies. It's a long, long game. Like, this is not going to happen tomorrow or next week or next year. The risks here, astronomical, pun intended. The reward, though, well, it's the kind of wealth that redefines the meaning of the word wealth. So how do we get a piece of this, right? Well, you don't really bet on individual gold miners to make the big money. In the long term, you sell them shovels, you sell them equipment. The space economy projected to be 1.8 trillion in the next 10 years by 2035. 1.8 trillion. That's a real play, right? You can invest in publicly traded companies right now that are part of this ecosystem. Think about Rocket Lab, RKLB. They're starting to be the ones that launch these missions. Think about the established aerospace and defense giants that already provide hardware and expertise. Boeing, all the companies in the United Launch Alliance. You have other players like ASTS jumping in there. This isn't about a quick flip. This is where understanding what's happening and that the world's resources are a finite problem and they're getting worse. So we're looking for out of the box solution, out of this world solutions, really. And the solution's kind of getting weirder. And this weirdness is where there's opportunity for those that work and succeed. An opportunity to invest in the infrastructure that's going to support this new frontier. There's going to be billions spent. It's an opportunity to make billions of money on those bets. So the next time you see people complaining about the price of anything, just kind of smile because you know the real inflation, it's going to be happening a few million miles above our heads. And maybe you're smart enough to get a piece of it. So I thought it was interesting to kind of talk about. Like, this is going on right now. Like, they're sending probes to these asteroids now. How to get them back home? That's the next piece. Like, how do we get it from out there back to here? It's interesting. Maybe look into it. Keep up with it. So, despite gold, platinum, cobalt, all those rare earth minerals being limited, the supply out of this world much larger. So that's a lot of money worth of. I mean, so what does that do to the price of gold though? If we were to bring in something like that, you know, $15 quadrillion worth, I mean, that could definitely change the dynamics very quickly. You know, one thing we're not going to do, we're not going to mine Bitcoin in space and bring it home. So another interesting thought. Anyway, how do we make money today? All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. You might lose money if you trade. Surprise. And if you desire personal financial advice, hire and consult a financial advisor. It's not what I do. I don't play one on YouTube. I don't try to be one, but good morning. Blue Monster today. Have a great day, everybody. How do we make money? Well, check this out. So far, Bitcoin held right in where I needed it to. Next thing we're watching, that move. If we do it, expect that move. And then the finality move, the final move probably. That's what we're staring down right now. So we need this to hold. It's kind of my biggest laggard, maybe. I was looking at yesterday. Down to a 618, you know. And, you know, if we pull it all the way down here, still holding in the 618. So I don't know if this was 5 up or if this was the intermediate 5 up and then 2 down. I don't know which one we're on. This is where it's muddy. And, you know, somebody better at this, maybe I know exactly where we are. And, well, the market only gives us like 70% chance that we're right, 30% we're wrong. And more than likely, we're going higher unless we break through this right down here. Break down through this, probably going lower low. That's what the odds tell me. S&P overnight, kind of boring. I mean, gosh, man, look at this. Look at that overnight action right there. What the heck? Little tight range, consolidating the highs. Bunch of nothing. That's interesting. Wonder why it's highlighting that in blue. Weird. Electronic trading hours. Regular trading hours and electronic trading hours. What the fudge does that even mean? Futures, it's all regular trading. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why they decided to highlight that, but it looks like the market's open. And cash index didn't really go anywhere. Kind of banging our head here, right at that 200% extension of this pullback. Yesterday was kind of ominous for some people. We stopped at SPY 666. Opening back up right there. Does that mark the top? Or do we push it on up a little bit? if we just match this first move here, if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, this is going to be 5, we might be topping out. Like, that's entirely possible right here. If that is a big 5 up, just throwing this out here. Say we tag 60, 80. The next dip can put us right back down where we came from in April. Now, it also could kick off a bigger correction. So we'll have to watch the structure of whatever pullback we get next. There is significant resistance right in this area. We are. Don't really expect much more than what we've got right now. But don't bet against it, right? I mean, like, betting on ultimate failure is a way to, I mean, this thing can stay irrational way longer than anybody can stay solvent. But I'll tell you, some very, very large players have put some very, very large bets on the market dropping 10% by December. It's in the options flow. It's across QQQ and SPY. 10%. Only back down to 6,000 though. But when I say large bets, I'm talking about 20, 30, 40 million dollar bets on this occurring by December. Might work out, might not. We are pretty lofty. Be careful out there. Be careful. I'm gonna wait till, you know, back here. We got this initial drop down into the daily roadmap line. And then back in February, I drew that we would probably continue on down. And I actually drew a bottom down here in the 5,000 area. You can go back and watch that if you want to. The videos are all still there. But we bottomed out and tagged the weekly roadmap line. It wasn't magic. It was, fairly easy to know we were gonna do it eventually. Now, timing is difficult, but this gave us 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks before the really big fast drop. Now, once we get some indication that we're gonna have some weakness, you put debit spreads, right? Putting it on right now and keep making these little green candles indefinitely. Eventually, we're going to pay the piper and get a bigger pullback. It's going to happen. The faster we go up, the more violent it's going to be back down. And we all love to make money fast, right? Fast money, make money. Yeah. But it's just part of the market dynamic. And right now we're sitting on a nice big fat long streak of greens. Look at this. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks. 8 weeks in a row without having a negative week. We haven't even done that coming up off the lows. Just trying to remember. 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week, 5 week, 6 weeks, 7 week, 8, 9. That one went 9 weeks back there. I kind of remember that one. I was looking for that one. 9 weeks. We don't usually go more than 6 weeks. So we're pushing the limit here. Probably going to get a down week. Be like, well, the doji doesn't count. It's green. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We close this up. That's 8 weeks in a row. Maybe get a 9 or 10th. Just increases the odds that we're going down. I mean, it's like playing roulette, You don't usually get 13, 14, 15 streaks of red or black. So it's playing the odds. But don't bet against it, right? Like, wait till it proves it. The NASDAQ coming on up into the middle of the heart of the bubble here, the target bubble. Could go on up to 27. I mean, I'd be like, whoa. I've had several people like, what's the bad news? What would make this crash? It's like, there's lots of stuff in the background going on. All sorts of debt things. It just takes one hiccup to start cascading everything. That's what, kind of lots of people saw the housing crisis unfolding and the mortgage-backed securities and stuff like that. And now it's like, well, that probably won't be the exact problem this time. I mean, maybe it's CRE, maybe it's commercial real estate. And it just takes one bank, one mid-sized bank blowing out, and it cascades out to other banks and quickly gets to be a problem that's bigger than anybody can control. Now, I saw an interesting analogy last night too. The Fed's been quick, the Fed and the Treasury and everybody's been very quick to extinguish any little hiccups we've had in the market for the past couple of years. Basically rolling all the way back to COVID. They've been very quick with liquidity and solving problems that show up in the market and, pasting it over, trying to keep it from going. But think about it that like forest fire land. Like if you have a large plot of property, forest fire sparks up here, you put it out really quick. Forest fire sparks up here, you put that out real quick. Another one over here, you extinguish that real quick. But what about all this tinder and kindling that's accumulating out here? Eventually, if something gets out of control, everything starts blazing, right? We've accumulated all these problems sitting out there that haven't actually been dealt with and haven't been flushed out and burned out. The fire, in the market, there's a lot of problems. People like me talk about it, but what's the spark? What's the thing? I don't know what the thing is going to be. Lots of speculation, but Russell may still need to climb up to some of these upper levels here. We may need to max everything out, max all the credit cards out before we get into big trouble. Oil coming back up once again, couldn't break down below the lows. Still got lower highs. I'd love to see that flush on down and then go higher. Gold making a rip, probably going up for that 38.80. Next target up, starting to be more bullish. May not get a big pullback here. Bitcoin, it's kind of where I started there. Want to see it hold this area right around 111. Don't really want to see it below 111 right now. Probably come back here later, but I want to see this go higher before it goes below 111. Now, this is kind of this right here is important level. If we go below this, we might be taking a dip below 100,000. So this is the first warning. That's the next warning that we may be going below 100,000. And there's still a chance we could go higher, but it starts tipping the odds that crypto winter's here. So I really don't want to see below 111 right now. Ethereum pushed the limits, made a new low, kind of avoided all the bullish setup right now. Have to look for a new bullish setup. Kind of one big correction at this point. That was the first move down. That was the retrace. And then this is the next move down. So can we build something bullish here, or does this continue to erode down further? Very cautious because this setup could lead to continuation lower. NKD grinding at the highs. Want to see this push on up. And we've gotten up to 45 pretty quick here. 48's not that far away now. Could be where we top out. 48, 49, 50, somewhere in this zone. That's the bottom of the target bubble up here. Could come on up, but if we just get up in there, could be the global liquidity party could be ending. Dollar so far rejected breaking higher. So the potential paths right now, as long as we hold the lower highs, lower low, then now, lower low than what we've got now, because this was continuation at this point. We made a lower low. Can't have a, this can't be a 1 up and a 2 down. That was 3 up, and we got continuation lower. That's what we got. That was a lower low. So as long as we don't break the downtrend, we may make another lower low further down here around 95.6, possibly even 94s. And if we break through that downtrend of what was highs and now lows, it was a downtrend of highs back here, and it's now a downtrend of lows, kind of. If we break through that, we may flush this on down to around 89, which kind of takes back the entire move up that we started back here in 2021. Yeah, everybody acts like this dollar thing's like some shocking drop. I mean, we just in 2021 we were down here with the dollar, and in 2018 we're down here with the dollar. So I'm not sure why we act like the dollar coming back down here is like some shocking first time in history thing. We've been down here plenty of times, and in fact, when you zoom out and look at it, this level down here has kind of been the balance point around 88. And we had a big shock back here in the 80s, and then spent some time underneath, and a big shock pop over here, and then spent a long time underneath. Then we've just been grinding a little bit. So, I mean, right down there around 89, 90. It's kind of the balance point. So we may come back into that balance point. Like, that's entirely possible for the dollar. Now look at the Mag 7s. Let's check in here. Apple looks like we're going to push it on out. Like, this is starting to look like we're going to break out, make some new all-time highs here. Maybe they're pulling the rabbit out of the hat with the iPhone 17 demand. 276, 292. Still have caution every time I pull that chart up that we might drop out. Amazon setting up for that retest right there. We hold that, turn higher, it's likely we're going to bust out to new all-time highs. If we don't hold this for a key area right in there around 212, 215, if we don't hold that, probably embarking on a journey back down near the lows from April. Google still grinding on the path at 263 up there. Meta finding resistance. That's a lower high. Caution, that was 3 waves up. That move right there. And so this is even though it's not a lot of candles, that move up, that retrace, that move up, lower high, and this pullback overlapped that right there. It's an indication we're going down to the roadmap line. I liked how we held the breakout, kind of tested the gap, but this is indicating that we're going to get more downside here on Meta. Probably back down in this area. Would I trade for it? I'm not going to. Probably going to see if we can hold that 680 to 700 area. If we can't hold it, could take us down pretty hard on Meta. Microsoft is down 3 points. Upside resistance right here. And probably going to do a third move. First move down, retrace, third move down. This thing did a 60-something% in ramp from back down here near Liberation Day. It already did the first move down, the A, the retrace, the B. Next move down, C, while none of the other Mag 7s did this back here. And we started with the high back here last summer, made a lower high here in December while all the rest of big tech was making new highs. And then we flushed that down to a lower low. And then that turned and burned and went up 60-something%. Came up just shy of the 1618. That's why 75% likely, 70% likely, 35%, and we missed it. So doesn't have to go back up there. This can do a bigger correction again. NVIDIA. This is some comedy gold right here. So NVIDIA is going to give OpenAI $100 billion. You can give OpenAI this. I mean, this sounds like Ponzi scheme stuff, or you're not joking. They're going to give OpenAI $100 billion, right? So OpenAI is, a big customer of Oracle. Oracle reported that OpenAI is going to spend $100 billion with them. So this is going to go to Oracle. So that Oracle can buy GPUs from NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is going to invest $100 billion in OpenAI, and they're going to take that and give it to Oracle to run their data centers, and Oracle is going to turn around and buy NVIDIA GPUs. This is like the biggest farce of money. I mean, everybody's going to skim a little off too, so this is almost like the way banking works, I guess. Like take your, you borrow, you make $100, take it, put it in the bank. They lend out 90 of it to Joe Blow. He takes that, puts it in the bank, and then they take that and lend out, 81 of it, and then and that just keeps going and keeps going, keeping 10% each time. I mean, it's just circular firing squad here. If anything hiccups, poof, boom. And just be careful out there. $100 billion, though, that's only like $4 of their share price. So I can't believe nobody's calling their shenanigans. I think that's shenanigans. Like, that's just market shenanigans. Tesla coming on up into that resistance around 450. Watch for some resistance right here on up to 500. Then we got significant resistance and then a target up here at 551. We get up there, we can experience a bigger pullback again. Netflix. Everybody's skimming? Yeah, come on. Are you serious right now? People skim money? Watch that right there. Been working on this. How long is it going to take? I don't know. It could take well into toward the end of the year to get down here finally. It's a pattern that commonly occurs on Netflix. The only real thing we need to do is get lower than this initial low right here. A dip below that low right back there from August satisfies this correction. It would be awesome if we tagged the roadmap line and it turned up again, break back above this, indicates we're going on out higher again. So Netflix probably going down for now, or at least being soft in this consolidation until this big roadmap line, orange line, meets up with this. And somebody was commenting I don't see that as orange. I'm gonna jump over here, pull up the code for it. I share the code on my YouTube channel, like right on the homepage if you want to see the code. I'm about to pull up the code again though for you. So I say it's orange because in TradingView it is like orange is the color. Like so if it shows up gold or some other color, you know, your monitor's off a little bit, I guess. But the color I use is orange. Yes, orange is all subjective though to the people coding it. So we're likely to touch that line. I want to see it come down and hold. You know, we could go as deep as this down here because that would be a balanced first move down, second move down. That's the downside potential. But anything lower than that A right there can satisfy this correction, and then we can go higher. Now I go pull all the gainers, things moving $2 more up in the pre-market, put them on the gainers list. I grab everything moving $2 or more down in the pre-market, put it on the decliners list. There's not a ton of stuff on here today. And then I go grab some setups, and I've got a few of those down here that we can look at if you hang out. So let's make sure I got the right list too. Yeah, looks good. All right, things moving up. Check it out. MSTR was moving up in the pre-market. Now, well, oh, that's MTSR. That was yesterday's. I'm pretty sure. It's let's put a pin in this and reload. Let's see if it's just not pulling today's list. Yeah, there we go. Better. Better Home and Finance, right? Hey, go give them your money because they're good at managing stock prices. Not reverse splits. Not good. No bueno. Those reverse splits, that means they're horrible managing stock price. And this right here is complete bullshit and probably going to come back down at some point in the future. The stock's better. It's doing better now than it was. But oh, man. IONX. It's 2x long on IONQ. So let's go to the underline. Check it out. Yeah, at the target. Be careful. We could go on up to 104. And we obviously didn't do the second leg down. We went higher. So this is starting to look like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And this move right here is bigger than this initial move. Be careful. That can result in a large retrace back down into the vicinity of the bottom of the 4, which will be right back here. And then we can go higher again. So just be cautious. That'd be a large pullback, right? 70 to 37. Even if we ramp it up to 100, it can still come back to 37 because that's the vicinity of the 4. Even if we push this up here, the rules are not really, it's not really a rule. It's just a guideline. The guideline suggests that typicality on the correction would be that we would see that pullback to this vicinity. Doesn't have to happen. Nothing ever has to happen, like as I talk about constantly. So we did the move down. That apparently was the 3 waves. And we may push it up a little bit more because oh man, that's too wild. So if we actually pushed it up to that 104, like put it back on 104 right there. Look where the 618 comes out. So if we pop that and then retraced right there, it'd be classic 1, 2. But then it sets up for a mega 3. But is that already the 1, 2? And this is another, it could be a sub 1, 2. It's the craziest stuff. Like, you never know exactly where you are in the count. But let's see. Put right there, put right there. That next move. This is the wild thing from 37 to 600. That kind of crazy potential. Not bad. Not bad at all. TSM. Probably going for 313. CHKP. So hey everybody, I'll be on Market Masters here at 11:30. Then I'll be on Profit Panel at 2:30, and then I'll be back here on YouTube at 5:30. 5 at 5 for 30 minutes of awesome. So I'm live a lot today. So if you're looking for me on Discord, I'm probably live a lot today. Probably worn the fudge out today. So that's potentially 3 waves down. We're looking for a move up and a retrace, and then continuation, break back through this high and on out. For the initial resistance, probably up here in the 240 to 250 area. Onto. So this is working on a reversal here. Don't like this, the way it started. Not my favorite. It's just not the way bullish trends typically start. So I'm cautious here till we get above this 618, and then we can start looking more bullish. 274, 312. Yeah, David, hopefully you get you saw that opening stuff I talked about there. Glad you're here. If you missed the beginning, you gotta go back and watch that. Blow your mind kind of stuff. So SLE, reverse split, another dumpster fire. BA. Likely to get some deeper retrace here. We got support, roadmap line, but then 50 and 618 retraces down here. Wouldn't surprise me to come back down in this area. And if we do that, this bigger arrow that I've got on the chart could set us up for a bigger upside. JNUG just keeps ripping. We're a long way off. You know, we've got reverse splits over here. So obviously they poorly manage the ETF, but be careful. There you go, David. It's the way to do it, my man. PPLT, as I've said, going to 160. There's your platinum outperforming. And platinum started out the year right down here. Look at that baby go. Best performer of the year. Beating everything else. Got a chance to get another, $25 out of it. Right there. Hey, Robert. ETHU getting whacked a bit. Shiny. Keeps being crazy. Core weave. Just be careful here. So, the thing to watch. There's the high. Here's the low. If we start getting above that right there with a daily close, we can take this on up to a new high around 209. Despite the fact this looks like a big bubble and it looks like we're going to come back down. Can go up, new high, and then later on come back down. And there's a whole bunch of alerts. Alert. Lots of stuff firing off on Apollo. LB. Yeah. So the big thing about the 5 p.m. show is the only time of the week I do requests. So you want to make sure you put it on your calendar. Put a reminder in. Come see me. 5 p.m. PLTR. Several people dropped off. PLTR coming up. As long as we're lower, we still have the chance to take another spill down to the roadmap line, but starting to tip the odds that we're going up to 196, possibly 203. IONQ, we already covered. PALL. This has a setup to pop a little bit higher high. Probably 130 would be where I expect. We didn't do a roadmap balance here on the daily time frame. Came up shy, so, but we didn't fully hit all the targets over here, so. SRE. It looks like we're tipping the odds. We're going to go up to 100 maybe. PSIX. It's always a maybe. Like I never know for sure. Like we're on these expansions, you know, 70% likely to get the 1.1448. 75%, 70%, 1272. So that would be right there. 133 for this one and 138. Gelato. Looks like a dumpster fire. Reverse split. AZO getting whacked a little bit today. Probably coming back to the roadmap line eventually. RAGN. Hunting for a bottom. That could be a big measured bounce. Could. I don't know. It's going to have to get through the roadmap line. Convince me. VST. Potentially topping out here. 224, 247 targets fly on the wall. Looks pretty gnarly. Probably going lower. See leverage stuff. Oklo. Yeah, because this makes wonderful sense, right? They don't make any money. Just lose a bunch of money. Baidu taking a step back, but needed that support down here at 123. And then the sky's potentially the limit. We got big resistance there at the orange. Bloom Energy. This keeps rocking and rolling. Might be heading up to 121 here. LRCX. Cruising on up, 135. Even though it's on the decliners list. SYM. Big picture. Highest high, lowest low. 80 and 95 on that one. Stuff set up for an entry today, potentially. Bam. Here's the high, here's the low. Looking for 65 right there. Boom. Bam and boom. That's funny. I say boom all the time, especially when people make money in the market. Boom, 950. Bug. Bam, boom, bug. The bug hits the windshield. Bam. Splat. I'm surprised we don't have like splat down here. And 38. There's the entry. 38. Stop. Dollar below the low. CG. Let's clear that one up. Here's the high. Oh, that one didn't actually hit on this time. It would have hit in Python, but it didn't hit on TradingView. So be careful. It's a 4-hour bounce on TradingView. And 365 upside. Dell kicking off the entry. 145. ETN. Flip back to the daily. Here's the high. Yeah, it's still a 4-hour bounce on that one. 410. Ferguson. 250. NWS. National Weather Service. Brought to you by Carl's Jr. 36 on the upside. And PDFS. That already hit the target. That one fired off yesterday and hit the target today. Boom goes the dynamite. So expectation for today, be careful. Probably just going to keep grinding higher. 67 and 6,800. Those are bigger upside resistances and may lead to bigger pullbacks. But keep grinding higher until we roll. Have a great time, everybody. Have a great day. Be careful out there. I'll be on Market Masters at 11:30 with Jack Carter, Eastern Time.